Hello, welcome to another episode of Rando Rob. It is Monday. It is my lunch break right now. But right now for lunch, I just had a taco and it took 2 minutes, and I get 30 minutes for lunch. So I thought I would squeeze in a quick episode of Rando Rob. Today is a bittersweet day for me. Over the weekend, I learned that one of my old good friends passed away. His name was Josh. If you've been listening to my podcast for a long time, or reading my blog posts or anything like that, you are familiar with the Nasty Pirates, which is my close group of friends. I came up with a nickname, a gang name for us in high school. We were the Nasty Pirates. We originally all bonded because we all had CB radios in our cars, and we all had similar cars. I went to school in the late 80s, graduated in the early 90s, but we all had 70s muscle cars. Jeff and Andy had a Z28 70, like 78, 79 Z28s. I had a 79 Formula Firebird. My friend had a 64 Chevy, it wasn't a Nova, a Chevy Malibu, 64 Chevy Malibu. So we all had these old hot rod kind of cars, and we had CBs because at lunch we would all go out and then we would talk on the CBs and tell each other where to meet for lunch. So anyway, but Josh was the fifth Nasty Pirate. There was five of us, and Josh was the fifth. He was the last one to kind of join the group. He was a year younger than us, so in high school we didn't hang out with him all too often. But after we graduated, all of us at one point in time or another all worked at Pizza Hut. We were all really good friends. I was good friends with his sister. His sister passed away in 2011, and Josh passed away this year. He passed away several months ago, and unfortunately, we lost touch with him, and he was one of those guys that was not on social media, and he had changed his email address and phone number, and so we lost track of him, and so we're all very, very heartbroken today to learn about his passing, and we're all really disappointed is not the word, but we're all just bummed out, which is not an official sounding word, but we're all bummed that we weren't able to go to his service and share memories and pay our condolences, because he was a good guy. He was a friend of mine from the late 80s, and then he kind of dropped out of sight 2012, 2013. So we lost track of him for quite a while, and this is a bad way to catch up with him. So anyway, in honor of Josh, I went through the collection and looked for some things that reminded me of Josh. It's funny that I was such a Star Wars guy and Josh was a Star Trek guy, and I only have one Star Trek item and I can't find it at the moment. So I can't share that, but I looked through, but I did find something. And I got this many years ago, and I remember Josh seeing this thing. And the thing about Josh was, first of all, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say his ADD was like a 23. He had a hard time focusing, unless he was working on he was just a master expert at repairing cell phones and working on computers. So if he was focused on something like that, you could not break his concentration. But in conversation, he was all over the place. And it was almost, his humor was almost like Robin Williams, where he would laugh and he would make, references to things, and or if you said like, oh, is this hot, he'd be like, is it hot, and he would laugh, and then you would start laughing, even if what started him laughing wasn't all that funny. You would laugh because he was laughing, and it was such a ridiculous thing. And so I had this thing in my room one time, and I remember it just caught his attention, and I'll show it to you here if you're watching the video. If you're listening, I'll describe it, but the first thing he did was walk through the room. He saw this and he stuck his finger right in this thing's belly and was like, hello, what's in here? Hello, hello. And anyway, let me show you this thing. This is, the way I would explain it before showing it on video, this is a 3D latex figure, I suppose, of a alien autopsy. But I believe it was some sort of game. I'm not really 100% sure. I did look it up one time, I feel like, but it almost reminds me of Operation. So let me show you, except for Operation was like a flat board game, and this is actually like a rubber action figure. So let me show you this dead alien. He is a foot tall, maybe slightly taller, 13, 14 inches. I would say about a foot. He is obviously designed to be laying flat on his back. So his arms are to his side with his hands up and his legs are out straight. He does, I think, you could stand him up if you leaned him on something, but he's all latex rubbery, so he kind of wobbles and falls over. He doesn't stand straight up very well. He's really designed to be laid down flat on his back. Now, this is a traditional looking alien, like when you say, hey, what's an alien from the 50s look like? This is it. It's a big green alien. He's got big giant black eyes. I remember a lot of aliens at the time, they would say instead of a mouth or a nose, they just had a little slit or something, but not this guy. He has not only a nose, but he's got lips that are black. This whole thing is green, and the only paint that appears to be on here, maybe some darker green highlights, but the majority of it is just black. His eyes are black, his nostrils are black, and he's got black lips. So he is a good-looking fellow. Now, if you're looking at the video, you may notice something here, that his stomach is slit wide open, like an operating patient or an autopsy patient, and so is the top of his head. And, there is a date on the back of this, which I cannot read without using my phone's flashlight. So let me turn on my flashlight here. And this says copyright 1990. Boy, and it's hard to read, either 1992 or 1997, maybe 1997. B Merino, made in China. So it's B, is it B? It might be an R. R.Merino. Anyway, when I got this, when I picked it up, and I'm going to try to do this by the mic so you can hear it. You can hear there's one thing in there. And so if we reach inside his belly, which feels kind of weird to do, and we pull it out, there's this tiny little organ. And I'll show it to you on the camera. This could be it could be a tiny brain or maybe a liver or a heart. I don't know. It's just a little pink. It looks like an old piece of bubble gum. And we're going to put that back in his belly. So I assume when you bought this, he had more things in his belly and probably some things in his head or whatever. So you could store this. Would be a great place if you need one of those hiding places to put your spare key. What better place to put it than in an alien's head or in his belly? So anyway, I do remember just having this. I got this. I think my mom got this for me at a garage sale or something. And I had it sitting out on a desk, and Josh came through and saw it. And then he put his finger in his belly. He was like, oh, what's around in here? Oh, tickle, tickle. That's just how Josh was, man. Nothing was off limits. Like if it was sitting out in the open, he would pick it up. He would play with it. And so I remember him seeing this, and this was definitely his kind of thing. Like I said, he was a Trekkie. He was into all kinds of outer space and sci-fi, and later when we got older, all kinds of multi-dimensional theories and time traveling and stuff. And the guy was, he read stuff all the time. So anytime, if you brought something up, you better be ready to talk about it for a long time, because he knew a lot of information about all that kind of stuff. I haven't had too many people my age pass away. Younger, I knew a couple of people here and there from high school that had car accidents or this or that and passed away. But, it's unfortunate that, there's not a lot of information in the online obituary we were able to find. So I don't really know. And, most of his family is gone. So there's no one to ask. And I don't know, that we'll ever find out what happened, and I don't know that it's important, but what's important is that we lost a good buddy, one of the original 5 nasty pirates, so he will definitely be missed. I will. I gotta go dig out the other Star Trek. I have one Star Trek spaceship that when I find it, I will share on Rando Rob, and that's something that will make me think of Josh. But I wouldn't say like when I saw this normally this alien autopsy guy that I would see it and I would immediately go, oh, that reminds me of Josh. But I will say that when I was thinking of Josh and I was looking through stuff, I did remember that event happening. So, but I mean, if you were going to say, oh, let me pick out an item that Josh picked up and said something goofy about, then that would be everything I own. So, yeah, he was a good guy. Wrote an article about him today on robohara.com if you want to read a little bit more about Josh and all of our relationship and some of the fun we had. Then you could go read that. But so anyway, this is a fun alien. He takes up a lot of shelf space, which is probably why I had to go dig him out of a tub that I had in the garage. I hadn't put him out because the fact that he does lay down, he takes up like an entire foot of shelf space. Now, what you could do, I suppose, is put figures up behind him as a display and then put him on the front of the shelf so you could kind of layer items that way. So maybe that's what I'll do. Whenever I bring items in here for Rando Rob to share, I never put them back out in the garage. They always stay in the house. Excuse me. I sneezed right on the podcast. Good timing. But I never take them back out. So they're not out there because I brought them in and I got tired of them and I took them out. They're just out there because I haven't had the time or energy to bring them in here and try to find more places for stuff. So the alien autopsy alien guy will stay out here and or in here, I should say, in the room. I'll find a spot for him. And now, especially when I look at him, I will think of my buddy Josh. So, as always, thanks for watching or listening to Rando Rob. I'll have vintage episodes, I should say. Unless you're a Patreon, they're not ones that you've already heard. But I'll have those going up on YouTube on robohara.com. No, golly, I mess up all my own plugs. I'm so dumb. It's youtube.com. It turns out YouTube is at youtube.com/Rob O'Hara. There's a playlist for all the Rando Rob videos, so you can do that. Or you can go over to podcast.robohara.com and go look under the Rando Rob heading and see all the episodes that I've uploaded in audio format. So everybody take care. Look up an old friend. Tell them hi. And I will be talking to you all soon.